you think there's a lot of fundamental differences or similarities between real estate and the stock market? What do you think, everyone? Value is value, is it not? And you're looking for value, and what else you're looking for? Remember the 3 reasons for investing are what? Cash flow, tax write-offs, and growth. All right. Was there another question? Yes.
Wait, why wouldn't you put a call option and a put option on the same stock you own?
Because you could do that. You could buy a call. You could sell a call and buy a put in case the stock goes down. But I would rather just put in a stop loss order, and that's what I'm going to show you. Okay. I'm hoping, by the way, I know that some of these events get to be like a beauty contest, and I'm up here trying to convince you to come and spend 3 days with me. You know why? Because I know what I know, and I know what I can teach you, and what I love doing. All right, back over to page 9, and then we're going to almost have to wrap this up after this. Okay, page 9, everyone. The 3 lists of 3. Again, we don't have time today to do justice to this. I wish I could spend a couple of hours with you just on this one topic. When you get involved in a business, you've got to know your exit before you ever go in the entrance. With every piece of real estate, you've got to know what you want it to do for you, what the exit strategy is. How dare you just be out there buying stuff with the thought that you're just going to own it and hope for the best? Okay, I learned this a long time ago when you're buying a stock. Remember that rolling stock? I didn't buy a $2.50 stock hoping it goes to 90. I was buying a $2.50 stock hoping it goes to what? 3.5. Right? And then sell it, wait for it to go back down to 2.5. When I buy a piece of real estate, I say, I'm going to do this house, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do this with it. Now, you can change your mind from time to time, but should you know what you're going to do with every investment before you get involved? And if you just want to say, well, I'm going to own these mutual funds for my retirement, fine. Then you're at the whim of everything out there. But if you say, I'm going to spend $10,000, when it gets to $14,000 in this stock, I'm out of here. Do y'all see that? You know your exit. Now, I want you to think about this from a business point of view. I don't care whether you're in the sheet metal business, the sheetrock business, buying and selling houses. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're in a rental real estate and you like landlording, my hat goes off to you, but if you like landlording, there are 3 things that you're going to do with any and every business that you get involved in. Number 1 is you're going to keep it. You're going to keep it until you're 80, 90 years old. You'll drop dead driving to work. Right? You're going to keep owning that business. The second thing that you will do with a business is to hire and train a manager. And it could be your kids. But somebody will take over and run the business for you. And the third thing is that you will sell a business. You'll sell it or you'll dispose of it in some way, shape, or form. You'll just close the doors. All right? Now look at those 3 things. Will you agree with me that one of those 3 things is going to happen with your business? And if you got an airplane repair company, right? One of those 3 things is going to happen at some point in time. Now, if you know today, and even though you might change your mind in 5 or 6 years, if you know today that you're going to you love fixing airplanes and you're going to run your airplane repair business for the rest of your life, will you kind of handle the books a certain way? Hire and train people a certain way? But boy, if you know that you're going to hire and train your son to take over the business and you got 5 or 6 years to do so, will you do certain things to make sure that your son or somebody else is trained to run the business? You'll set up books a certain way. You'll have them do different things. What if you're going to sell the business? Will you make sure that your books are squeaky clean and all your taxes are paid? Yes or no? If your primary thing is to sell the business, you will run your books, right, a certain way. Do you see the point there? Because everybody's going to want to see your books. You see the point? So what do you want to do here? I mean, I don't just walk into your life here today. And I appreciate Ron inviting me to come in here. But he invited me to come in here for a reason. Maybe to shake you up a little bit, to get you to think about what you're going to do. I don't care if it's stock or real estate. What is your exit strategy? And by the way, that should be your ultimate question. I'm sitting here up here in front of you trying to paint an oil painting of your life. But when I paint an oil painting of your life, it's got a little door down there on the bottom. Right? What's your exit? Is your exit just to be busier? Is your exit to gear up and do 75 houses a year instead of 35? Is that what your exit is? Or do you really truly have a point when you say, that's it? If I'm making $38,000 a month and I can't be happy on that, there's no amount I'm going to make. So when we hit $38,000 a month, honey, we're going to stop doing this. Yes or no? You've got to have a point where something happens differently in your life. So what is your exit strategy? Okay, then the middle of the group I gave you, the cash flow, tax write-offs, and growth. And the last one is this. There are 3 enemies of wealth. There are 3 things out there that can curtail everything that you work so hard to build up. Let's give you the list. And then I'm going to ask you 2 really important questions right down here. Here they are. The 3 enemies of wealth. Number 1 is a lawsuit or lawyers. Okay, number 2 is income taxes. And number 3 is death taxes, estate and inheritance taxes. And by the way, I promise you, as soon as the federal government does away with some of these, the states will pick them up. Right? Now look at those three things while I ask this next question. Now, I've got two important questions to ask you. Here they are. You got them down? Lawsuits, income taxes, and death taxes. Those are the three culprits of every financial empire that you're trying to build. Those are the things that can jump up and bite you in the fanny. Okay, here's a question. If you make all of the money that you're going to make under you as a husband and wife, and if you have all of the income that you make made under you as a husband and wife, do you then stand pretty vulnerable? Can one lawsuit then wipe out most everything? Yes or no? Is everything in one income tax bracket? By the way, quick little point. You as a husband and wife, you should never, ever, ever own anything in joint tenancy. Joint tenancy to me should be outlawed. It is that dangerous, especially between a husband and wife. It is the absolute worst way to own anything that you'll ever own is in joint tenancy. Can I give you an example? How many have two cars at home? Husband has a car, wife has a car. Don't ever own them together. Do you know that if you own both the cars and your wife owns both the cars and she gets in a wreck or you get in a wreck, they could come right after everything that you own jointly? But if the wife owns a car and the husband owns a truck and the husband gets in a wreck, they can only come after his half of the estate, and they really can't get anything, because it's held other ways. Do y'all see that? So if you got two cars owned in both of your names, you go home tomorrow when you get home from here and switch them out. Husband owns one, the wife owns the other. Do not own them together. Now let me show you a little thing. Okay, so that was the first question. The question is, the answer, by the way, to all of these things is to split up your assets, to make sure that you do not own all of your things in one entity. All right, here's the second question. Is there anybody in your life that will work as hard to keep your estate together as you work to build it up? Think about just dying right now, and who's going to take over and run your estate? Take care of all your rental houses. And by the way, do you want to know the honest truth why I don't own a lot of rental houses right now? I'm a pretty good landlord. I can handle that. But I was married 21 years ago. My wife had two little girls. We've had 3 kids between us. We have 5 kids now. I got 3 grandkids now. We have a wonderful family. And she came to me about 13, 14 years ago. We were out buying a lot of rent. She goes, Wade, if something were to happen to you, I would do a really horrible job at those rental houses, and we'd probably lose everything. I can't deal with the renters. So guess what I did? See, I have the Big Mac truck theory. We go out and do a deal. We buy a piece of real estate, and one of us gets killed. What is the other one left with? So you're going to leave your spouse, husband or wife, everything you're working to build up. What if they wouldn't be very good at running your business? Then what's going to happen to your business? And what if your business is rental real estate and the wife would be nowhere near good at it as you are? What will happen to your rental properties if the wife doesn't take over? And especially that first year after your death, if you were to die in a car crash or something like that, what would happen, everyone? Could you see 23 houses just go away from you really fast? They could lose them. They can have renters just destroy the properties if they're not taking care of it. So you've got to do things, if you're doing with a business partner or with a husband-wife, you've got to do things that both of you can handle if one of you is not there. Did that help with that exit strategy, by the way? So we got rid of all of our rental properties. We have all kinds of notes. Can my wife handle notes and mortgages? We have one right now, $500,000 to pay. It's $4,800 a month. The guy's 3 payments behind. And my wife wanted me to get a hold of the attorney. I says, no. If I were not here, what would you do? She said, I'd contact the attorney and have him write him a letter. Do it. And she did it, and the guy called her yesterday. I was sitting here. I was telling in Atlanta yesterday. She goes, man, the guy just brought me $12,000 or $15,000 of 3 back payments. As soon as I threatened I was going to take it to the lawyers, he's going to have to pay all the stuff. He just came over here with a cashier's check. Is that pretty cool, by the way? But she did know how to do that. So even on all the notes and mortgages that we have, if I'm not here to do that, who's going to take care of the estate, everyone? Who is it? My wife. And if it's not your wife, it's going to be your kids, like your older kids. Is it not? So who is going to handle it? So let me ask the question again. Is there anybody in your life that will work as hard to keep your estate together as you work to build it up? I'm going to suggest that the answer is usually no. So if you want to take care of your estate, when do you take care of it? Now. You've got to take care of it now before anything happens to you. It's highly unlikely that anybody in this room is going to die in the next year, but it's highly likely that 15 or 20% of you are going to be in some kind of an accident or some kind of a disease or sickness or something like that, right? That's going to put you out of commission for a while. All right, one last thing. And then there are 5 domestic entities, 5 legal structures that you need to get to know. One is a living trust. Everyone needs a living trust. Simply put, everyone, I'm going to put the word pauper up here. You need to make sure when you die that you die with no assets. Everything that you own has been assigned to an entity, right, and away from you. Number 2 is a family limited partnership. Okay, and the reason I use the word family there is because usually it's family members, a limited partnership. Those of you that have real estate, this is one of the most accepted entities out there, especially if you have rental real estate with losses that you want to pass through. Number 3 is a corporation. This is the workhorse. And I really still believe in the privacy, the secrecy, and Nevada corporations. Our little company has set up, we sold it now, but we've set up now 26,000 Nevada corporations. There are 9 companies in America that sell Nevada corporations. I sell every month as much as the other 8 put together. Right? We do between 200 and 400 a month. We are so big on Nevada corporations. So if you want one, I'll give you the phone number and all that, and you can get one set up. But we service them, we take care of them. Now I'm going to show you one other thing about corporations in just a second. The next one is some kind of a pension trust. Now that could be your IRA, but I'm talking about a full-blown what is called the defined contribution plan. I don't think most of you in this room need a defined benefit plan. And the 5th one, my favorite, is a CRT. And it's actually the CRUT, the Charitable Remainder Uni Trust. How would you like to have an ability to donate and give away assets that you then 100% control, have upon your death when you're 80 or 90 years old, anything that's left over in the trust go to your church or a charity, have all of the money growing tax-free, pay no taxes throughout the year. Remember I told you about that $1 or $2 million I was paying in taxes? When we assigned all the copyrights over to our CRT, we still make all the money, we still do investments and do all that, but now we don't pay any taxes. This is all a creature of the Internal Revenue Code. The documents that you use are put out by the Internal Revenue Service to have a CRT, charitable remainder. There's 3 kinds. The one that I'm the most favorable to is a charitable remainder uni trust or unitrust. Okay, it is awesome. Now I'm going to show you one thing about corporations. If you have a doubt on which entity you should own to do real estate, I'm going to suggest a corporation. Let me just show you a corporate structure. If you use us to set up your corporation, we will set it up with 25 million shares of stock, 24 million shares of common stock, and 1 million shares of preferred stock. And there's a lot of reasons for that I can't go into today. Now let's just set up a corporation right up here, and so you can see. Let's say that you grow out there. You just take off right now, and you're worth, let's say, $5 million over the next 10, 15, 20 years. Do you realize what your family will pay upon your death if you're worth $5 million in assets? You want to take a guess? The inheritance tax starts at 18% and shoots right to 55%. Now, the first million or so is not taxable, but your family on that is going to have to pay right around $2 million. Now, does the IRS want cash or assets? These are your real estate properties. These are your little business interests. These are the investments that you have. They're going to discount them to get the cash. Well, they're not if they have to take them away. How many farms, how many American businesses do you think are destroyed by the Internal Revenue when there's this great big huge inheritance tax? And you know how long all of the estate taxes would support our federal government? Anybody want to take a guess? 22 hours. That's all they would support our government. All the taxes every year come in estate taxes. It is such it's horrible to us, but it's such a minuscule part of the overall picture that you think it'd be good to get away from estate taxes. What do you think, everyone? You work your whole life, you pay taxes your whole life. Do you think you should have the ability to give to your family everything you've worked for? What do you think? Okay, so that's what's changing. Let's do it again, though. Let's say that you start with 0 amount of money, and we set up a corporation. Okay, draw out a box like this somewhere, and I'm going to show you what to do. Put a husband here and a wife here, and let's say for this example you have 3 kids. Kid number 1, kid number 2, and kid number 3. All right, let's divvy up 1 million shares of the stock. You have 24 million shares of common stock. Let's give mom and dad 5%, and let's give each of the kids 30%. All right, that'd be 50,000 shares to mom and dad. And by the way, that will be held in their living trust. So that goes into a living trust. Okay? And 300,000 shares to each of the kids. Now let's do it again. Let's go down the road and let's get to be worth from 0 or $5,000 or $10,000 today. Let's get to be worth $5 million again. Now this time, how much shows up in our taxable estate? Okay, you guys stay alive. I'll die for this example. I'm dead. Okay, I own 5%, right? How much shows up in my taxable estate? What's 5% of 5 million? 250,000. Am I well within my one-time exclusion? No taxes are due. Why not? No estate taxes are due. Why not? Because this time we are not transferring anything to the kids. This time the kids already do what? They already own it before you die. Do you like it or not? I think a corporation is the most significant estate planning tool ever designed. It's better for an estate planning than a living trust. A living trust just helps you avoid probate. That's all a living trust does. This corporation structure, but a lot of you are saying, well, hold it. Don't the kids now own a lot of the stock? Yeah. Man, the kids own $300,000. They own 30% of, $5 million. They could kick you out later on. So when you set up your corporations with us, we'll show you how to do it, but you have voting stock and non-voting stock. Y'all see that? Seriously. And now the kids can do whatever they want, and you can give them voting stock when they get to be 60 or 70 after they've proven themselves out. You're 90, and you start giving your 62-year-old son a little bit of the voting stock at that point in time because you want to get him trained before he's 70 to run the family company. Yes or no? You with me? But who controls it all the time? So guys, the secret is control without ownership. That's the secret to wealth. If any one of you were to sue me right now, the most you could get would be $9, maybe $12. I bought lunch today. I'm serious. I'm not worth anything. But I manage about $20 million in assets. I'm the general manager. As a matter of fact, I just got my new business cards printed up here. You got to see these. They're on the back table. It says Wade Cook, Liberty Network, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. Okay? Because I don't even have a title. I'm not an officer. I don't want to be. Control without ownership. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.